That rough idle after your last fill-up, the check engine light that came on 20 miles later, the drop in fuel economy you cannot explain. That is not bad luck. That is bad fuel. AAA tested it. Non-top tier gas leaves 19 times more carbon deposits in just 4,000 miles. 10 gas station chains in America are still pumping that fuel into your tank every day. One of them put 70% water in a driver's tank last year. Cost him $1,600. That station is number 1 on this list, and you have probably driven past it this week. And what your dealer will never tell you is which 5 stations actually protect your engine. The top tier standard was created in 2004 by BMW, GM, Honda, and Toyota, and is backed by 12 major automakers. AAA tested it. After 4,000 miles, non-top tier fuel left 19 times more carbon than top tier. The premium, 3 cents a gallon, skipping it up to $5,000. Here are the 10 worst. Sunoco. Sunoco walked away from the top tier program years ago, and a single tank can do over $1,000 in damage. Many Sunoco locations are independently owned, meaning fuel quality varies from one station to the next, and the brand name on the canopy does not guarantee what is in the underground tank. Brian Steele, an Indiana mechanic who pumped fuel from stalled cars after a contamination event, said the cheap repair starts at $300 and the high-end runs $500 to $1,000. But here's what makes Sunoco a real problem. John Mack, a Mustang owner in Mitchellville, Maryland, filled up at a local Sunoco, and within a mile his car broke down. The repair shop found his tank full of dirty water. Total damage came to $1,362. John spent weeks chasing the wholesale distributor before he was reimbursed. At $1,300 wiped out by one tank, that is 30 cents per mile destroyed before normal wear even starts. But the next chain on this list is in nearly every state, and the failures are worse. Pilot Flying J. Pilot Flying J is the largest travel center network in America, and it is not top-tier certified. Speedway's testing showed 19 times more intake valve carbon on non-top-tier fuel after 4,000 miles. On a fleet vehicle running 10 times that distance per year, the buildup compounds fast. But here is what truck drivers are not told at the counter. Pilot's primary customers are long-haul fleets where engines are routinely replaced as a business cost. The cleanliness standard that matters for a personal vehicle is not part of the procurement decision. A Ford F-150 owner named Mike, posting in an owner's forum, reported losing fuel economy from 21 miles per gallon down to 17 over 6 months of regular travel center Phillips. He recovered most of the loss after switching to Chevron with Techron. On a truck burning 1,000 gallons a year, a 4 mile per gallon hit at $4 per gallon is $900 wasted before any actual repair. That is 6 cents per mile lost to fuel waste alone, before carbon damage ever shows up. The next station sits in front of the biggest retailer in America, Murphy USA. Murphy USA, the chain that sits in front of nearly every Walmart, is not top-tier certified. They sell roughly 4 billion gallons a year, and none of it carries the detergent guarantee 12 major automakers insist on. AAA confirmed it. 19 times more intake valve deposits in 4,000 miles on non-top tier fuel. But here is what Murphy will never advertise on their pumps. General Motors has issued technical service bulletins explicitly recommending top-tier detergent gasoline. If your GM vehicle develops carbon-related problems and the dealer pulls fuel records, you may have a warranty dispute on your hands. A Honda Civic owner described regular fill-ups at his local Walmart Murphy station and slow degradation over 20,000 miles. By 80,000 miles, his fuel injectors were so fouled that a professional cleaning ran $470. The dealer said it was the cheapest gas he had been buying. At $470 over 20,000 affected miles, that is 2.5 cents per mile in preventable cleaning. And the next station lost its top-tier badge in a single year, with no warning to the public. BP, the fourth largest gas chain in the United States, was once top-tier certified. In late 2021, it quietly dropped off the list. There was no recall, no press conference, no warning at the pump. The top-tier program now lists 105 gasoline retail brands worldwide. BP is not one of them. But here is what makes this betrayal worse. The automakers behind top tier, including Ford, GM, Honda, Toyota, BMW, Mercedes, Audi, and Volkswagen, explicitly recommend top-tier fuel. Millions of drivers who trusted BP for decades are now putting fuel into their cars that no longer meets that recommendation. A BMW 3 Series owner posted that he filled at BP for 2 years, then developed rough idle and check engine codes pointing to misfire and carbon buildup. The dealer diagnosis was intake valve carbon buildup, common on BMW direct injection engines, with a walnut blast cleaning quoted at $600. The technician told him the fuel choice likely accelerated the problem. At $600 over the affected miles, that is 3 cents a mile before considering the second cleaning he will need. But the next chain has been linked to multiple contamination events in 2024. Safeway. Safeway gas is one of the most convenient grocery chain fuel options in the country, and it is not top-tier certified. The chain sources fuel through regional wholesale distributors, which means the additive package varies, and the only guaranteed detergent level is the EPA minimum from 1996. That minimum was set to control emissions, not engine cleanliness. AAA's lab testing showed engines on non-top-tier fuel built carbon deposits 19 times faster and produced 2 to 4% worse fuel economy. But here is what Safeway will not put on the pump. Grocery store fuel programs are typically loss leaders to drive grocery sales, and quality control is often outsourced. A Subaru Forester driver in California documented a 6-month decline in fuel economy from 28 miles per gallon to 24 after switching to Safeway to save 15 cents a gallon. Her savings of $130 was wiped out by $300 in extra fuel burned, plus a $400 throttle body cleaning, an extra 5 cents per mile in cost against a savings of 2 cents at the pump. The math does not work. The next station does not just underperform on detergent, it has been connected to multiple fuel contamination events in 2024 alone, and its parent company already lost its top-tier certification without warning a single customer. Sheetz. Sheetz operates hundreds of locations across Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, Maryland, Virginia, and North Carolina, and despite being a major regional brand, it is not top-tier certified. Sheetz uses detergent additives, but the package does not meet the top-tier specification. The top-tier standard caps intake valve deposits at 50 milligrams. EPA minimum fuel can produce many times that. But here is what should worry Sheetz customers most. The chain markets aggressively on low fuel price, including ethanol blends that can run as high as 15%. Higher ethanol content increases water absorption, raising the risk of phase separation, where water and gasoline split in the tank. Phase-separated fuel destroys fuel pumps and corrodes injectors. A Ford Escape owner in West Virginia posted that his factory fuel pump failed at 83,000 miles after years of Sheetz Phillips, with a replacement bill of $940 including labor. That is 4.5 cents per mile in damage. That would not have happened with top-tier fuel costing 3 cents more per gallon. The next station is one of the most recognized names in American convenience retail, and most of its customers have no idea they are one bad tank away from an $800 repair bill. Before we reveal the last 4 stations to avoid and the 5 that actually protect your engine, hit that subscribe button right now because the #1 worst station is in nearly every state, and the 5 winners include one brand most drivers walk past every week without realizing it is the highest rated fuel in America. Now to number 4, Sam's Club. Sam's Club is the warehouse retail giant under Walmart, and unlike its competitor Costco, Sam's Club fuel is not top-tier certified. That is the single biggest difference between 2 stations that look almost identical from the road. Costco Kirkland contains 5 times the EPA minimum detergent and is fully certified. Sam's Club meets only the EPA minimum. AAA's testing showed 19 times more carbon on non-top tier fuel in 4,000 miles. But here's what most Sam's Club members never realize. Both warehouses sell discounted gas as a membership perk, but only one of them sells gas the engine actually thanks you for. A Chevy Equinox owner in Texas said she had used Sam's Club gas exclusively for 3 years to save on her commute. At 75,000 miles, her check engine light came on for misfire codes on cylinders 2 and 4. The dealer found heavy intake valve carbon and quoted $700 for cleaning, telling her bluntly the gas was likely the cause. If her catalytic converter fails from continued misfires, the bill jumps to $3,000. The next station has 4,000 locations across the country and a contamination record your dealer will never connect back to the pump you filled up at last Tuesday. Speedway. Speedway operates around 4,000 convenience locations and is not on the top tier list, despite being one of the most visible gas brands in the Midwest and East Coast. The chain pumps massive volumes daily, and its additive package meets only the EPA minimum from 1996. That minimum was never designed for modern gasoline direct injection engines, which now dominate new vehicle sales. Top Tier's new GDI injector cleanliness test, finalized in November 2024, raised the bar even further. Speedway fuel does not meet it, but here is what makes Speedway particularly risky. With 4,000 high-traffic locations, underground storage tanks see extremely high turnover, which actually increases the chance of water and sediment being stirred into the dispenser if filters are not perfectly maintained. A Toyota Camry owner near Cleveland, Ohio, reported that after a Speedway fill-up, his car began stuttering within 5 miles. The mechanic confirmed water in the tank, drained the system, and replaced filters for $350. At $350 per contamination event plus a 5% fuel economy loss, the average Speedway customer is losing 2 cents per mile in combined damage and waste. Circle K is the second largest convenience store chain in the world, and it is not top-tier certified. With more than 9,000 US locations, that absence affects millions of drivers every day. The top-tier standard mandates fuels prevent intake valve deposits at 50 milligrams or less, and prohibits organometallic additives like MMT or ferrocene that can poison catalytic converters. Circle K is not bound by any of that, but here is what Circle K customers do not see at the pump. With locations on high-turnover urban corridors, the chain's underground tanks see constant deliveries, and filling a tanker stirs up water and sediment that can pass through filters into your car. A Hyundai Sonata owner in Phoenix filled up at a busy Circle K right after a delivery truck left. Within 15 miles, his car was misfiring. The shop diagnosis was contaminated fuel and a fouled fuel pressure sensor, costing him $890. That is the cost of 300 gallons of top-tier gas he could have bought instead. But the #1 worst station on this list is responsible for the worst documented fuel disaster of the past year, Arco. Arco is the worst station on this list, and it is not because of carbon deposits. It is because of what happened in Wilmington, Ohio in 2024. An Arco station there sold fuel that was, according to repair invoices, 70% water. Multiple drivers lost their engines on the same day, in the same town, from the same pumps. John Toth, a driver in Ohio, pulled into the Arco and noticed the 93-octane pump was running unusually slowly. He filled up anyway. Within a mile, his car shut down. The repair shop wrote, quote, "extreme fuel contamination," end quote, and confirmed 70% water in his fuel tank. Josh Waddell, who filled up at the same station days earlier, drove a mile before his car stopped. His repair bill came to $1,600, including a $500 tow. Other drivers reported damages exceeding $900 in tow and repair charges. But here's what makes Arco the most dangerous of all. Arco is owned by BP, which itself lost its top-tier certification in late 2021. The chain price is aggressively low and operates mostly in the western United States, drawing budget-conscious drivers who think they are saving money. $1,600 in one fill-up wipes out a decade of price savings. At $1,600 per contaminated tank, the cost is 13 cents per mile, more than triple normal fuel. Now to the 5 stations that actually protect your engine. Phillips 66. Phillips 66 is fully top-tier certified and states publicly that its fuel contains 3 times more detergent than the EPA minimum. The brand operates across the central and southern United States and is recommended by every top-tier sponsoring automaker, including BMW, GM, Honda, Toyota, Volkswagen, Mercedes, Ford, and Audi. A Ford F-150 driver in Oklahoma posted that he switched from Murphy USA to Phillips 66 and recovered 2 miles per gallon of fuel economy within 6,000 miles. At 15,000 miles a year and $4 a gallon, that is $700 in fuel savings every year, against a 3-cent per gallon premium that costs him about $45 more annually. Net savings around $650 per year. Phillips 66 actually pays the driver back. Exxon and Mobil. Exxon and Mobil are top-tier certified across all grades, and their proprietary fuel, Synergy, contains 9 additives, including 3 detergents, a friction modifier, and a corrosion inhibitor. The Synergy formula was designed specifically to clean to the standards set by GM, Toyota, BMW, and Honda for the top-tier program, consistent with AAA's 19 times deposit reduction finding. A Lexus RX 350 owner posted that he switched from Citgo to Exxon Synergy after persistent rough idle, and within 4,000 miles, his idle smoothed out and his fuel economy returned to factory spec. The injector cleaning he had been quoted at $480 never had to happen. At $0 in damage and $50 a year in higher per gallon cost over budget brands, Exxon Mobil delivers one of the lowest true cost per mile figures on this list. Costco. Costco's Kirkland Signature gasoline is top-tier certified and contains 5 times the EPA minimum detergent in both regular and premium grades. Costco operates around 580 fuel stations in the United States, and the fuel is sourced from major regional refineries with the Kirkland additive package added at the terminal before delivery. AA's testing showed top-tier fuels reduce intake valve deposits by up to 95% compared to EPA minimum fuel. But here's what makes Costco different from every other winner on this list. Costco gas is typically 10 to 20 cents per gallon cheaper than name-brand top-tier competitors. A Honda Pilot owner in California documented filling up exclusively at Costco for 4 years and reported 0 carbon-related issues at 110,000 miles, including a clean intake valve inspection at her last service. Costco delivers the best dollar value of any winner on this list. Shell. Shell has been refining and distributing fuel for over 100 years, and its V-Power Nitro Plus is top-tier certified across every grade. Shell's nitrogen-enriched additive package was developed specifically to remove existing carbon deposits, not just prevent new ones. Auto manufacturers including BMW, Mercedes, Audi, Ford, Honda, and Toyota all recommend Shell as one of the highest detergent top-tier options for direct injection engines, but here's what Shell does that the cheaper stations cannot. Shell V-Power contains the same nitrogen-enriched detergent chemistry developed for high-output performance applications, and it is available at your nearest pump. A BMW M340i owner in Florida posted that after switching exclusively to Shell V-Power, his cold start rough idle at 60,000 miles disappeared within 2,000 miles. He estimated his avoided walnut blast cleaning, normally $600 to $800 on a BMW, was a pure savings. Chevron with Techron. Chevron with Techron is the #1 fuel for engine protection in the United States. Chevron was the first marketer in America to meet the top-tier specification when it was introduced in 2004, with Techron, the patented detergent additive already in every grade. Chevron's official testing data states that Techron can remove up to 50% of harmful carbon deposits in as little as 4,500 miles. This is not just a preventative additive, it actively cleans engines already damaged by lesser fuels. Top-tier sponsoring automakers, including GM, BMW, Honda, Toyota, Ford, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen, Stellantis, and Daimler Truck all recognize Chevron as one of the highest performing top-tier fuels for direct injection and turbocharged engines. But here is what really seals it. Leading U.S. automakers have used Chevron gasoline for the past 30 years to demonstrate compliance with the EPA's 100,000-mile emissions durability requirements. The fuel the factory used to certify your emissions warranty was almost certainly Chevron with Techron. A Toyota Tundra owner in Colorado, with 220,000 miles on his original V8, posted maintenance records showing exclusive use of Chevron Techron from new. His intake valves at the last inspection were described by his mechanic as, quote, remarkably clean for the mileage, end quote. Compare that to non-top-tier engines that often require a $400 to $700 walnut blast cleaning by 60,000 miles. Across 200,000 miles, that 3-cent premium costs around $450 total, while saving at least $2,000 to $3,000 in cleaning and lost fuel economy. Chevron with Techron is the cheapest fuel in America when measured against the damage it prevents. The cheapest gas at the pump is almost always the most expensive gas in the engine. Top-tier fuel costs 3 cents more and saves thousands. Comment below, has bad gas ever cost you a repair, and which top-tier brand are you switching to? Next video, the oil filters that destroy your engine within 100 miles. Thanks.